Welcome, basketball fans, to what might just be the most monumental, paradigm-shifting, and highly anticipated news update in recent Philippine basketball history. We are standing on the precipice of a brand new era for Gilas Pilipinas, and I want you to listen to me very closely today because the landscape of Asian basketball is about to be violently shaken up. The headline we are breaking down right now, the news that is sending absolute shockwaves from the bustling streets of Manila all the way to the international headquarters of FIBA, is simply electric. Kai Sado is officially being removed from the injury list. Coach Tim Cone is on standby, meticulously waiting for the final Samahang Basketball in Pilipinas, or SBP, list to be finalized, and perhaps most explosively, it is finally Remy Martin time. I need you to let the magnitude of those three separate but deeply intertwined storylines sink in for a moment. For over a year, the entire nation, a country of over 100 million people whose absolute first love is the game of basketball, has been holding its collective breath. We have been waiting, watching, and hoping against all hope since January of 2025 when our towering 7'3" prodigy, our generational center, Kai Sado, went down with a devastating anterior cruciate ligament tear while battling it out in the Japan B League for the Koshigaya Alphas. We watched him grimace in pain, and we felt that pain reverberate through the archipelago. We knew instantly what it meant. It meant a grueling rehabilitation process. It meant months of grueling physical therapy, isolation, and uncertainty. It meant that Gilas Pilipinas would have to march into the FIBA Asia Cup and the crucial World Cup Asian qualifiers without their most imposing interior presence, without their premier rim protector, and without the focal point of their half-court offense. And march they did, but not without paying a heavy, heavy toll. We felt the agonizing sting of his absence when Gilas suffered 3 consecutive, heart-wrenching defeats to the Tall Blacks of New Zealand. We watched as the interior defense struggled to contain the opposition, as Quinton Milor-Brown, A.J. Edu, and June Mar-Fajardo gave every single ounce of their heart, every drop of their sweat, but ultimately found themselves overwhelmed by the sheer size and tactical adjustments of our Oceania rivals. We missed Kai's ability to chain shots at the rim. We missed his incredible passing vision from the high post. We missed his soft touch around the basket and his uncanny ability to space the floor as a true modern big man. We watched New Zealand dominate the rebounding battle time and time again, a stark contrast to that glorious night in 2024 when a healthy Kai Sado pulled down 10 rebounds and scored 19 points to lead us to a historic victory over those very same Tall Blacks. The narrative of the past year has been one of survival, of treading water, of Coach Tim Cone utilizing his absolute genius to manufacture competitive games out of sheer willpower and tactical discipline, without his centerpiece. But today, my friends, that narrative ends. Today, the storm clouds part. The medical staff has reportedly given the green light. The countless hours of rebuilding knee strength, of balancing mechanics, of endless repetitions in the gym have culminated in this very moment. Kai Sado is coming off the injury list, and the timing could not possibly be more critical as we prepare for the grueling gauntlet of the upcoming FIBA windows. The psychological boost this gives to the entire Gilas Pilipinas program is truly immeasurable. Imagine the surge of adrenaline coursing to the veins of Dwight Ramos, of Scotty Thompson, of Justin Brownlee, knowing that the big man is back to lock down the paint. Imagine the sheer terror striking the scouting departments of Australia, New Zealand, Lebanon, and Jordan as they scramble to tear up their existing game plans and account for a fully healthy, highly motivated, and incredibly hungry 7'3" behemoth who has spent the last year watching his brothers go to war without him. But as if the monumental return of Kai Sado was not enough to make this the biggest news day of the year, we have the second layer of this incredible story. Coach Tim Cone is waiting for the SBP list. This is not just a routine administrative procedure. This is a chessboard being set up by a grandmaster. Tim Cone, the most decorated coach in the history of Philippine professional basketball, the master of the triangle offense, the architect of continuity, is currently standing at the threshold of unleashing the most terrifying iteration of Gilas Pilipinas we have ever seen. He has been incredibly vocal about his philosophy of continuity. He does not want a revolving door of players. He wants a cohesive, unified brotherhood that understands the system intimately. He wants players who know where the ball is going to be before it even gets there. He has nurtured a young core of phenomenal talents. Kevin Kiambao, Carl Tamayo, A.J. Edu. He has integrated the veteran savvy of Chris Newsom and CJ Perez. But Cone knows that to conquer the world, to stand toe-to-toe with the European juggernauts and the America's elite in the 2027 FIBA World Cup, he needs the ultimate weapons cache. And that is why the anticipation surrounding this SBP master list is reaching a fever pitch. The Samahang basketballing Pilipinas is working tirelessly behind the scenes, navigating complex labyrinths of FIBA eligibility rules, negotiating with professional leagues in Japan, Korea, and the PBA, and ensuring that every single bureaucratic hurdle is cleared so that Tim Cone has every weapon at his disposal. And that leads us to the absolute crescendo of this introductory hook, the bombshell that is sending fans into absolute delirium, Remy Martin time. For years, the name Remy Martin has been whispered in Philippine basketball circles like a mythical legend. The dynamic, explosive, electrifying point guard who captured the hearts of millions during a spectacular collegiate career in the United States, culminating in a legendary run with the Kansas Jayhawks, where he proved he is an absolute winner on the biggest stage. We have seen him express his deep, unwavering desire to don the national colors. We have seen the initial inclusions in preliminary lists, only to be heartbroken by technicalities, by FIBA eligibility constraints, by passport issues that have kept this dynamic playmaker away from the Gilas roster. But the winds of change are blowing, and the rumors are swirling with unprecedented intensity that the administrative knots have been untied, that the pathways have been cleared, and that Remy Martin is finally, truly, unequivocally ready to be unleashed as the floor general for Gilas Pilipinas. Think about the implications of this. I want you to truly visualize what a Gilas def lineup looks like with Remy Martin initiating the offense. You have his blistering speed, his ability to break down any defender off the dribble, and his incredible court vision creating absolute havoc on the perimeter. You pair him with the relentless two-way play of Dwight Ramos. You have the legendary unstoppable scoring machine that is Justin Brownlee operating on the wing. You have the versatile stretch-four capabilities of Kevin Kiambao or Carl Tamayo. And anchoring the entire magnificent spectacle, you have a returning giant, Kai Sado, catching lobs, cleaning the glass, and punishing late rotations. This is not just a basketball team. This is a perfectly constructed, highly lethal, internationally competitive juggernaut. This is a synthesis of size, speed, shooting, and tactical brilliance. We're talking about a roster that does not just aim to participate in the global arena, but a roster that is built to dominate, to strike fear into the hearts of our opponents, and to elevate Philippine basketball to heights we have only dared to dream of in our wildest, most passionate fantasies. The return of Kai, the strategic patience of Tim Cone, the explosive arrival of Remy Martin. The pieces of the ultimate puzzle are finally falling into place, and the rest of the basketball world is officially on notice. Moving into our deep dive analysis, we have to pull back the layers of this phenomenal development to truly understand the sheer magnitude of what this means for the tactical evolution, the psychological fortitude, and the long-term trajectory of Gilas Pilipinas. Let us begin by breaking down the Kai Sado situation with the extreme detail it deserves. An anterior cruciate ligament tear is not merely a physical injury. It is a profound psychological and emotional ordeal, particularly for a player Kai's extraordinary dimensions. When you are 7'3", the biomechanics of your lower body are incredibly complex. Every pivot, every jump, every hard deceleration on the hardwood places an immense load on those knee joints. When Kai went down in January 2025, the collective gasp of the Philippine nation was entirely justified. We were not just looking at a sideline player. We were looking at the potential derailment of the most promising homegrown talent the country has ever produced. The rehabilitation process over this past year has been nothing short of a Herculean effort. Kai Sado did not just disappear. He retreated into the laboratory. He worked tirelessly with top-tier medical professionals, physical therapists, and strength and conditioning coaches in Japan and the Philippines. This was not simply about healing the ligament. It was about rebuilding the entire muscular architecture surrounding the knee to prevent future injuries. It was about refining his landing mechanics, enhancing his core stability, and increasing his overall physical resilience. We have seen the updates. We have heard the quotes from Tim Cone stating that Kai's return is a luxury. But let's be absolutely clear. Kai Sado is not just a luxury. He is an absolute necessity if Gilas Pilipinas wants to break into the upper echelon of world basketball. Tactically, His return fundamentally rewires the entire Gilas Pilipinas offense and defense. Let us look at the defensive end first. Without Kai, Gilas had to rely heavily on the valiant but undersized efforts of our power forwards playing out of position, or the singular brilliance of a veteran like June Mar Fajardo, or the defensive instincts of A.J. Edu. While they fought with a heart of lions, they could not replicate the sheer vertical deterrence that a healthy Kai Sado provides. In the modern international game, where the pick and roll is the absolute foundation of every team's offense, having a mobile, massive drop coverage center is invaluable. Opposing guards who turn the corner against Gilas will no longer see a clear runway to the rim. They will see a 7'3" eclipse. Kai's ability to alter shots without fouling, to secure the defensive rebound, and immediately trigger the fast break with a pinpoint outlet pass, transforms our defense from a scrambling, reactionary unit into a proactive, suffocating force. On the offensive side of the ball, Kai's integration back into Coach Tim Cohn's system is going to be a masterclass in basketball geometry. Tim Cohn's system relies heavily on spacing, cutting, and intelligent passing angles. Kai is not a traditional, plodding center who just clogs the paint. He has the touch to step out and hit the mid-range jumper, and he is increasingly comfortable stretching all the way out to the FIBA three-point line. When Kai Sado sets a screen for a guard, the opposing defense is immediately placed in an impossible dilemma. If they drop, the guard has an open shot. If they switch, Kai has an immense size advantage in the post. If they trap the ball handler, Kai is an incredibly intelligent short roll passer who can dissect a rotating defense with a lob to a cutting wing or a kick out to an open shooter in the corner. His mere presence on the floor expands a half-court geometry, giving players like Justin Brownlee and Dwight Ramos exponentially more breathing room to operate. But the brilliance of this current Gilas situation is not just a return of one player. It is how the pieces fit together under the watchful eye of Coach Tim Cohn, who is currently waiting for that finalized SBP list. We have to talk about the genius of Tim Cohn's long-term vision. When he took over the program, he made a radical departure from the previous philosophies of scrambling together a different team for every single window. Cohn demanded a pool. He demanded continuity. He knew that you cannot build chemistry in 2 weeks of practice. You build chemistry through shared battles, through years of playing the same system, through knowing exactly where your teammate is going to be when the shot clock is winding down. The SBP list is a holy grail of this continuity program. It represents the carefully curated selection of the absolute best talent the Philippines has to offer, balanced meticulously to meet the specific tactical needs of the coaching staff. Cohn is waiting on this list because he understands that the next phase of Gilas Pilipinas requires absolute precision. We are no longer just trying to compete in Southeast Asia. We are aiming to dominate the Asian continent and make deep runs in global tournaments. The inclusion of players like Quinton Miller-Brown into the pool recently showed Cohn's desire to bolster the front line. But the anticipated finalization of this current list is expected to bring a level of finality and firepower that we have never seen. Cohn is assessing the physical readiness of every player, negotiating their release from their respective professional clubs, and ensuring that the 12 men who step onto the court are completely synchronized. And that brings us the most explosive, dynamic, and potentially game-changing element of this deep dive, Remy Martin. The phrase Remy Martin time is not just a catchy slogan. It is a fundamental shift in the pacing and playmaking capabilities of the Philippine national team. For those who might not be intimately familiar with his background, let me paint a picture of what this young man brings to the hardwood. Remy Martin is a human spark plug. He is a lightning bolt packaged in a basketball jersey. During his time at Arizona State and later at Kansas, he proved time and time again that he is a player who thrives on the biggest, brightest, and most high-pressure stages imaginable. The historical context of Gilas Pilipinas point guards is rich and storied. We have had the legendary Jimmy Alapag, whose limitless shooting range and massive heart made him an international icon. We have had Jason Castro, the Blur, whose ability to penetrate and finish in traffic earned him the title of the best point guard in Asia. We currently have incredibly steady hands in Chris Newsom and the rebounding machine Scotty Thompson. But Remy Martin brings a completely different flavor to the point guard position. He brings an aggressive, relentless, downhill attacking mentality that is virtually impossible to stay in front of. When you inject Remy Martin into the FIBA game, you are introducing a level of quickness and isolation scoring that severely disrupts opposing defensive schemes. International basketball often relies heavily on structured, highly disciplined half-court defense. Remy is the ultimate wild card. When the shot clock is dwindling, when the offensive sets are broken down, when Coach Tim Cone needs someone to simply put the ball on the floor, beat his man, and create something out of absolutely nothing, Remy Martin is the ultimate answer. His ability to hit pull-up jumpers in transition, his acrobatic finishes around the rim, and his fearless demeanor make him a nightmare matchup for opposing guards. Furthermore, the synergy between Remy Martin and the rest of the projected roster is absolutely mouth-watering. Imagine a fast break scenario initiated by a Kai Sado block. The ball finds its way to Remy Martin. He is pushing the pace at a breakneck speed. On his left wing, he has the explosive athletic ability of Jamie Malonzo or the dead-eye shooting of Calvin Oftana. On his right wing, he has the unstoppable freight train, that is Justin Brownlee. And trailing the play, coming right down the middle of the floor, is Kai Sado. How do you defend that? It is a transition offense that borders on the unstoppable. But Remy's value is not just in scoring. It is in his gravity. Because opposing defenses have to respect his ability to blow by them, they are forced to collapse, to pinch in, to send help defense. And the moment they do that, Remy has a vision to kick the ball out to our elite shooters. The Philippine team has always been known for its perimeter shooting, but you need someone to generate those open looks. Remy Martin is the ultimate generator. The potential of a deft lineup featuring Martin, Ramos, Brownlee, Kiambao, and Sotto gives Tim Cone a lineup that can switch across multiple positions defensively, push the pace relentlessly offensively, and shoot the lights out from beyond the arc. It is a lineup that completely modernizes a Gilas Philippines approach, aligning it with a positionless, high-paced basketball that dominates the highest levels of the sport today. The bureaucratic journey to get Remy Martin into a Gilas jersey has been a long, winding, and often frustrating saga. FIBA's eligibility rules regarding passports and naturalization have historically been a massive thorn in the side of the Samahang basketball in Pilipinas. The strict enforcement of the rule requiring players to have acquired their passport before the age of 16 has disqualified numerous immensely talented players with Filipino heritage from representing the country as locals. The SBP has fought countless battles in the boardrooms of FIBA headquarters, presenting documentation, appealing decisions, and striving to bring our diaspora talent home. If the news holds true that the pathway is finally clear for Remy Martin to take the floor, it represents not just a massive victory for the team's current roster, but a monumental triumph for the SBP's legal and administrative teams. It sets a precedent. It opens a door. It signals to every young player Filipino to send around the globe that the dream of wearing the flag across their chest is alive, achievable, and worth fighting for. As we analyze this from a broader perspective, we have to look at the upcoming schedule. The FIBA World Cup qualifiers are unforgiving. You are playing home and away games in incredibly hostile environments. You are dealing with jet lag, short preparation times, and the immense pressure of a nation's expectations. Coach Tim Cone has stated that his goal is not just to qualify, but to build a team that can genuinely compete in 2027. He does not want to just show up to the World Cup and be happy to be there. He wants to advance. He wants to shock the world. To do that, you need a roster that has answers to every single question an opponent might ask. When a European team tries to pound the ball inside, you need the twin tower combination of Kai Sado and Age Edu to build a wall around the basket. When an athletic American or African team tries to turn the game into a track meet, you need the blistering speed of Remy Martin and CJ Perez to match them stride for stride. When a highly tactical Asian team tries to force you into a grinding half-court rock fight, you need the sheer shot-making brilliance of Justin Brownlee to break the deadlock. The roster that is currently forming, pending the final SBP list, is the most versatile, the most deeply talented, and the most dangerous iteration of Gilas Pilipinas we have seen in modern history. It is also crucial to discuss the psychological impact of these developments on the local basketball ecosystem. The PBA, the UAP, the NCAA, every single domestic league looks up to the national team as a pinnacle of achievement. When young players see Kai Sado overcoming a devastating injury and returning to anchor the national team, it teaches them resilience. When they see the integration of a dynamic global talent like Remy Martin, it elevates their understanding of the level of play required on the international stage. It pushes our local guards to be faster, to shoot better, to defend with more intensity. The rising tide of Gilas Philippines lifts all boats in Philippine basketball. Coach Tim Cohn's mastery of managing egos, blending different playing styles, and fostering an environment of absolute selflessness will be put to the ultimate test. You have a roster filled with alpha males, with players who are the absolute superstars of their respective professional clubs. Kai is chasing his NBA dream while making waves in Japan. Remy has played under the brightest lights of American college basketball. Brownlee is a living legend in the Philippines. Cohn's genius is his ability to look these men in the eye and convince them to sacrifice their individual statistics for the glory of the flag. He builds a culture where the extra pass is celebrated more than a contested shot, where diving for a loose ball is the ultimate sign of respect to your teammates, and where the word "pusso heart" is not just a marketing slogan, but the very foundation of their tactical execution. The anticipation is absolutely suffocating. We are waiting for the official press releases, the final team photos, the moment when these 12 men walk out of the tunnel at the Mall of Asia Arena, to the deafening roar of 20,000 passionate fans. The return of Kai Sado from the injury list is the foundation. The strategic planning of Tim Cohn and the SBP is the architecture, and the arrival of Remy Martin is the explosive energy that will power this machine. We are looking at a perfect storm of talent, strategy, and timing. And now, as we move into our outro, I want to address the heart and soul of this entire phenomenon. You, the fans. The millions of Filipinos across the globe who stay up until 3 a.m. to watch grainy streams of international games. The fans who pack the arenas, who paint their faces, who argue passionately in barbershops, coffee shops, and online forums about pick-and-roll coverages and roster selections. This moment, this incredible convergence of good news, is a reward for your unwavering loyalty. We have endured the heartbreaks together. We remember the agonizingly close losses, the controversial calls, the moments where we felt that the basketball gods were simply not smiling upon us. We remember the sorrow of watching Kai Sado go down, the frustration of the eligibility battles, and the bitter taste of defeat. But Philippine basketball has always been a story of resurrection. It has always been a story of a nation that refuses to stay down, no matter how hard it is hit. The news that Kai Sado is returning from his injury is not just a medical update. It is a symbol of our collective resilience. It proves that no matter the setback, we will rebuild, we will recover, and we will return stronger than ever before. He is carrying the weight of a nation's expectations on those massive shoulders, but he is not carrying them alone. He has a brotherhood beside him, and he has 100 million fans pushing him forward. The news that Tim Cohn is waiting to finalize this master SBP list should fill every single one of you with absolute confidence. We have the right man at the helm. We have a coach who understands the international game, who respects the players, and who knows exactly what it takes to win championships. He is not building a team for tomorrow. He is building a dynasty for the future. He is laying down the bricks of a program that will ensure the Philippines remains a basketball powerhouse for generations to come. And the news of Remy Martin's arrival, that is the spark. That is the injection of pure, unadulterated excitement that makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. We are about to witness a brand of basketball that is fast, fearless, and furiously entertaining. We are about to see defensive schemes shattered, ankles broken, and crowds sent into absolute frenzies. It is Remy Martin time, and the world is about to find out exactly what that means. As we look ahead to the upcoming FIBA windows, to the battles against New Zealand, Australia, and the rest of the formidable Asian landscape, I want you to carry this excitement with you. I want you to buy the tickets, wear the jerseys, and scream until your lungs give out. Because when Gilas Philippines takes the floor with a healthy Kai Sado anchoring the paint, with Justin Brownlee delivering his signature magic, with Dwight Ramos locking down the perimeter, and with Remy Martin orchestrating the chaos under the masterful direction of Coach Tim Cohn, we are not just a basketball team. We are a force of nature. We are the embodiment of Filipino pride, passion, and unparalleled love for the game. This is our time. The pieces are in place. The injury lists are clearing. The rosters are being finalized. The ultimate lineup is no longer a fantasy. It is becoming a reality right before our very eyes. We are witnessing the birth of the greatest Gilas Pilipinas squad ever assembled. Thank you for joining me on this incredible deep dive. Stay passionate, stay loud, and always believe in the heart of the Filipino.